How will the authorities interact with the people? What tools? Well, what are they? The Ministry of Internal Affairs, the Investigative Committee, the Prosecutor's Office, the courts, the Federal Penitentiary Service, and for those who are lucky, bailiffs. There are quite a lot of tools for interaction.
And these are the real rights and freedoms that Russians can expect. The Kremlin is turning Russians into real slaves, and it continues its terrorist war against Ukraine. My name is Albina Pidhirnyak. I'll share more news shortly. Putin doesn't leave his opponents alive. There is no real opposition in Russia. A few weeks ago marked 2 years since he had Navalny killed in prison. And today marks 11 years since the murder of Boris Nemtsov.
What will this Putin get in the end? Tell me. What will he get? He will get an enemy in the face of Ukraine. I don't want people to come here to Moscow, to Yaroslavl, to Nizhny Novgorod, Grozd-Vesti, so that our mothers, our wives, and children cry. I don't want that. I am in favor of stopping fighting with neighbors. I am in favor of making peace with Ukraine, so that there is peace and tranquility around us, so that we take care of schools, hospitals, roads, pensioners, so that we are engaged in science, culture, and education. I'm for it. This is now called the fifth column, right? Well, everyone is arguing there when he will leave, how long to wait, there and so on. I have a completely different philosophy, almost, you know, so Tibetan. I have to survive it. The old motif of railways, the eternal youth of rail lines. It seems as if the whole life is ahead of us. Do not make a mistake when choosing paths. So, everyone, you are now a deputy of the village council. You need to know such songs. That's it, for now. Bye, come on, bye, dear. See you.
Mindich has made contact. The suspect in the Nabu case said he is ready to come to Ukraine for questioning, but as it turned out, there is a condition.
Be affectionate, and you were fed by NABU detectives Yukos online chi Yukos Yakimo's rank?
You see, I also have this question.
In me, there is also nourishment.
Yes, what about me, and why? Why was it necessary? If there is, I have been to Ukraine. Well, call me. I have letters from all the authorities. In August I wrote letters to everyone that I am so-and-so, so-and-so. There is a lot of noise in the media. Do you have any questions for me? If there is, I am ready to come.
Did NABU write such a sheet?
Everywhere. I have a sheet from all the organs from both the SAPO and NABU too.
In the Serpentine world, right?
In the month of August.
Well, in August. Okay, yes.
Yes.
Sakavo, IU VAS EC leaf, am I right?
What do you think?
From infections. Did they feed you at once? From the letter to the ear as the cob of the history.
I appealed to the court to include me online.
No, this court, you said, and NABU like you, can? Niak.
And tell me another question. I would come to Ukraine today. I would come to Ukraine today. I would be suspected. I would even go to jail, if there was an honest bail. I just understand that they will now say such a pledge that I will not be able to collect it.
The confrontation between Pakistan and Afghanistan. Pakistan accuses the Taliban of working for India and spreading terrorism.
At 2 p.m., the bomber is from the Dal-Laman Shah of Pakistan.
In temporarily occupied Mariupol, a strike hit a location where Russian military forces were based in the Primorsky district near the port infrastructure. Next, I'll show you the cruelty of the Russians. They have completely destroyed the Ukrainian city of Kostiantynivka. In the video, you will also see a location resident. He simply wanted to leave the city on his bicycle, but a Russian soldier killed him with an FPV drone. I'll talk a little about Russia's terrorist attack against civilians in Ukraine. Russians struck the Odessa region today. As a result, 2 people were injured, including a child. Another attack also took place in the Sumy region. Emergency services released a video showing the aftermath and rescue efforts. As a result of the attack on Zaporizhzhia, 4 people were injured, including 1 teenager.
Here, in particular, Antonio Costa directly stated, again, a direct quote, Russia, Costa said, cannot be allowed to succeed at the negotiating table. Oh my God. You're not there yet. And, apparently, no one is waiting for you there. Nobody invited you there, to this negotiating table, because you do not know how to behave, because you have already been there, because you cheated, and you were grabbed by the hand. Therefore, sit there under the table and do not wilt.
Russia continues to actively recruit occupiers, while in the United States, the pressure on Russia is seen in a rather distorted way. My name is Albina Pidhirnyak, more details coming up. Every year on February 26, Ukraine marks the day of resistance to the occupation of Crimea. It honors people who joined peaceful protests and didn't accept the illegal annexation of the peninsula.
Crimea, Ukraine. Crimea, Ukraine.
Putin met with Lukashenko at a meeting of the so-called Supreme State Council of the Union State. Among other things, he said that Belarus continues to support Russia in its terrorist war against Ukraine.
Russia and Belarus cooperate closely, as allies, in the field of foreign policy and defense. Our approaches to topical issues on the international agenda are always close or coincide. We invariably strive to participate constructively in resolving global and regional problems. We work shoulder to shoulder in the CSTO, the CIS, the SCO and other multilateral venues, including the United Nations. Together, we resist the pressure of sanctions and advocate the formation of a truly just multipolar world. A reliable basis for the alliance between Russia and Belarus is created by the Interstate Treaty on Security Guarantees within the framework of the Union State, which entered into force in 2025. This comprehensive document is aimed at protecting the sovereignty, independence, constitutional order of Russia and Belarus, the integrity and inviolability of our territory and external borders. I am convinced that, together with our Belarusian friends, we will continue to do everything necessary to ensure the military security of the Union State with all the forces and means available to our countries. In conclusion, I would like to express confidence that our joint work today will serve to further develop the Russian-Belarusian partnership and alliance, promote equal and mutually beneficial integration and improve the well-being of the citizens of Russia and Belarus. This, in fact, is what we are working for. Thank you very much.
Putin made a number of additional statements.
And of course, an integral part of the extensive agenda of our Union State includes the development of cultural, academic, sports, and youth contacts. I mentioned, for example, that more than 16,000 Belarusians are studying in Russian educational institutions. Next year, an additional 1,300 Belarusian applicants will be able to enroll in Russian universities on state-funded places alone. The Union State prizes in the field of literature and art have truly become prestigious and respected. The resolutions of the Supreme State Council on awarding the next such honors to talented cultural figures of our two countries have been presented and approved. I would note that Russia and Belarus closely cooperate as allies in the sphere of foreign policy and defense. Our approaches to current issues on the international agenda are always close or coincide. We consistently strive to participate constructively in resolving global and regional problems. We work shoulder to shoulder within the CSTO, the CIS, the SCO, and on other multilateral platforms, including the United Nations. Together we resist sanctions pressure and advocate for the formation of a truly fair multipolar world. A reliable foundation for the alliance between Russia and Belarus is provided by the Intergovernmental Treaty on Security Guarantees within the framework of the Union State, which entered into force in 2025. This comprehensive document is aimed at protecting the sovereignty, independence, constitutional order of Russia and Belarus, as well as the integrity and inviolability of our territory and external borders. I am confident that, together with our Belarusian friends, we will continue to do everything necessary to ensure the military security of the Union State with all the forces and means available to our countries. In conclusion, I would like to express confidence that our joint work today will contribute to the further development of Russian-Belarusian partnership and alliance, the advancement of equal and mutually beneficial integration, and the improvement of the well-being of the citizens of Russia and Belarus. That, in essence, is what we are working for. Thank you very much.
U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that Washington continues to put pressure on Russia without taking steps that could weaken Ukraine's position. According to him, a key signal is that the United States doesn't sell weapons to Moscow and doesn't impose sanctions on Kyiv while keeping restrictive measures against Russia's energy sector and other strategic industries.
Could the moment come when the administration will change course and increase pressure on Moscow?
and the administration continues to increase pressure on Moscow. For example, at the end of last year, the president imposed additional sanctions against their oil company Rosneft. The administration also continues to sell weapons to Ukraine. We do not sell weapons to Russia and do not impose sanctions against Ukraine. The president appreciates the fact that he is the only world leader who has at least some chance in the world to bring these two sides to the negotiating table. We are the only country on the planet that managed to ensure that Russian and Ukrainian negotiators sat down at the same table and talked to each other. And for such a terrible war, this is a very important position for us, which we do not want to give up.
In the Warsaw metro, authorities have started building food and emergency stockpiles. They are even purchasing generators. The mayor of Warsaw said that the capital's underground system is planned to accommodate at least 100,000 people.
Logical ones. We are preparing warehouses for the necessary equipment. Here we have canteens, and here thermoses, canteens, and here in 2 rows sleeping bags. And here we have stretchers and field beds. We have also started the process of buying power generators, because they are necessary in crisis situations. Thousands of pieces of very different equipment, and this is just the beginning of shopping.
In the Russian army, according to Ukrainian military observers and several independent analytic centers, the problem of replenishing personnel is becoming increasingly noticeable. Recruitment efforts are growing larger in scale.
Universities continue to recruit students for the war. Students of one of the universities in St. Petersburg contacted us. They complained that they were selectively summoned for a conversation. First of all, those who will soon end their deferment from college, and those who have already served, are invited to such a conversation. Students were gathered in a small group in an office and had a conversation about the benefits of serving in unmanned troops under contract. And then the guys began to be called one by one for a personal conversation. Behind closed doors, an unknown man, who is not an employee of the university, offered to sign a contract, of course, with promises of payments and special conditions. The next step was to fill out the questionnaire. Even if a person does not plan to serve, they are still forced to fill it out, leaving no other choice. The questionnaire contains, for example, a direct question about consent to join the ranks of the armed forces of the Russian Federation. If the student wants to answer no, he needs to explain the reason and indicate under what conditions consent would still be possible. Since the end of January, similar messages have been coming from various universities and colleges throughout Russia. At first, the contract was offered to those who unsuccessfully closed the session as an option for solving the problem. Now other students are receiving such offers. Lightning does not get tired of repeating. There are simply no special conditions for students. These are empty promises, only to persuade young guys to sign the most ordinary contract. By the way, it can be sent anywhere, even immediately to the front, and it is almost impossible to terminate it. With the current legislation, it is almost indefinite, since de jure mobilization has not yet ended. If you did not pass the exams well, each subject can be retaken, and each debt can be closed on time. A contract is not a solution, and it will not help with your studies in any way. If you are under pressure, write to the Free Lightning hotline on Telegram. Our lawyers will help.
In the Dnipropetrovsk region, law enforcement officers exposed a large network of call centers where, according to the Office of the Prosecutor General, more than 1,050 people may have been working. More details to follow.
Systematic counteraction to fraudulent call centers continues. Dnipropetrovsk region, a large-scale operation of prosecutors, 27 searches. The network of fraudulent call centers has been terminated. 1,500 units of computer equipment were seized, almost 500 mobile phones. It was because of them that people were deceived. They promised quick earnings on investments, but the money was immediately transferred to the organizers' accounts. Among the victims are citizens of Ukraine, Europe, and Asia. We identify the organizers and all participants in the schemes. The prosecutor's office systematically stops fraud. There will be no more impunity.
Dear viewers, thank you for watching this video. Write in the comments where you're watching us from. It is important for us to know the geography of our audience. Support Ukraine. Together we will win.